Yes, people. Right, so we get ourselves ready. Today we're going to be winning over our minds. What does that mean? That means regaining control from your impulses. That means when you get the urge to go look at stuff you shouldn't do, smoke something you shouldn't, you get the urge to maybe check your phone. How do I put my chair down? Oh. When you maybe get the urge to check your phone, you shouldn't, because you need to be working. That is what we're going to be learning to understand today. How we can stop being victim to our impulses, because it's something that so many people don't understand how to do. And as a man and as a person overall, if you cannot win over your impulses, you will not win at life. Right, so the intention for... Yeah, okay, well, I need to make it smaller. Oh, whoa. This is going great so far. I'm loving this. Right, so the intention and the promise for this video, while I try and fix my camera, is by the end of this video, you'll understand how to build discipline like it's a muscle, right? And you'll stop thinking if it's something you're either born with or not. I had this belief for a very long time. I thought that people that are very disciplined, they're just not like me. They're just different. They can do more than I can do. No, that's not the case. Right, so let's skip. Okay, so why should you even listen to me? You're probably thinking, who is this bold guy? Who is this little shiny-headed man on our camera? Right, so I'm going to tell you why you should listen to me, okay? I'm not a guru, but I am someone that is probably exactly like you, because I had no discipline, okay? I had no structure, no routine, nothing in my life. I just woke up and whatever happened for the day was whatever happened for the day, okay? I would shower every other day. I would smoke weed constantly. I would eat whatever I wanted, go months without a haircut, right? It was terrible, absolutely terrible. And I lived in psych wards, for fuck's sake. You can't tell me you don't understand about being unmotivated and bad mental health, whatever else, because I was there. Look, over here, this is my bathroom. It was like a prison bathroom. Every time you turn the shower on, it'd go all over the toilet. You have to put your toilet roll outside the bathroom or it gets soaked. He was younger me. I was maybe 16 here, so this is 3 years ago. Look at that. Look at the state of that, mate. Anyway, my mind ran me. Okay, I was not in control of my body, my actions, whatever else. I just existed here, right? Okay, so now this is me now. I train 7 days a week. I work 12 to 14-hour days most days. I do things I used to avoid, like cold approaching women or put myself online. I'm not saying that like go cold approach women, you need to make TikToks. I'm saying it because younger me couldn't have thought of anything worse. The idea of approaching a woman that I found attractive in public, the idea of putting videos of myself out there for everyone to see, that even now still makes me crawl in my skin sometimes, right? I don't just find this stuff easy, but I force myself to do it because my mind does not run me. Okay, so I've also run 2 marathons with no training. Both of these were very monumental things in my life that indicated to me that I am in control of my brain more than I ever thought I was, right? Do one on no training, or just on a random Wednesday, and I'll do a second one in 0-degree weather. I promise you it's not fun, right? But I'm not special. Not in any means. My mind, I just trained it to obey me. And in turn, I reinvented myself, Now I live a life that most people, including younger me, would dream of. I live out here in Asia. I have a beautiful place, I couldn't be happier. Look, that's... Okay, I will show you the view of the mountains, but the weather's not the most beautiful today. So, we're here for now. We're here. Okay. So, discipline. You need to understand what discipline is, and you need to understand, how it actually functions. Oh, this camera thing's pissing me off, right? So, discipline is not about forcing yourself. It's about conditioning your impulses. Right, it's about training yourself. Your brain does not care what is right, it repeats what's familiar. If you wake up in the morning, right, and the first thing you do is grab your phone to scroll, your brain is being conditioned to succumb to that impulse. Your brain is being conditioned to allow this impulse to control the narrative of your day, to control what you do with yourself. Right, your mind and your body are 2 separate things, but that's a later point. If you train comfort daily, discomfort will always feel impossible. Well, so think, what habits are you rehearsing without realizing it? It's like if you are a boxer and every single day you box, right, you're conditioning your brain to do something which is difficult, which is uncomfortable. But if you've never boxed a day in your life, and someone comes to you and they say, yeah, go do this boot camp. It's going to be 10 hours. You know, you're going to be boxing continuously all day, doing hard sparring. It's going to be difficult. Your brain's going to go, whoa, 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 whoa. I can't do that. You know, I can't do that. And even if you tried, you'd probably give up after 30 minutes because your brain has not been conditioned to do it. So what are you, fucking hell, can't speak. What are you rehearsing that you don't realise? You know, I'm sure there's a habit or many habits that you're doing on a day-to-day basis that is feeding into this part of your brain which is saying, this is normal. This is what I need to do. You know, so what are you conditioning your brain to believe? So it's the next one. Right, so repetition. You have a drink, quick drink break. Amazing coffee here as well, by the way. White coffee, had like honeycomb on top. Honeycomb absolutely demolished that before the call. Right, no, not the call, the video. Right, but gorgeous. Anyway, how disciplined? I mean, don't know why I got a notebook. Right, so how discipline is built. People who seem naturally disciplined simply started training the muscle of their discipline earlier than you. Right? The same way that a muscle grows with resistance, your control grows with repetition. If you're constantly saying yes to bad habits, say for example food, if you're constantly saying yes to eating shit food, right, you're constantly saying no to eating healthy food, your brain is going to grow and lean more towards, you're meant to think here, it's leaning you more towards eating bad food, avoiding good food, right, because your brain is learning from the repetition that you are exhibiting in your day-to-day life. So every time you win one small moment, you strengthen the muscle of choice. Your whole life and your whole days are so many micro decisions that make up one macro result. So say for example, in your day, think of how many decisions you make. Hundreds, whether you realize it or not. Some are subconscious, some are big decisions, some are small decisions, but ultimately all these small decisions make up your life. Every single small decision over a long enough time frame reconditions your brain to think in a certain way, act in a certain way, operate in a certain way, and the more mini wins that you stack up, the stronger your discipline gets. Right, so you can see little muscle here. You know, my muscles are, I've not been training the past few weeks. I've been working, grafting, sue me, right? But quote from Marcus Aurelius, good old Marcus, I went to school with this guy, top fella, right? You will never conquer the external world until you have conquered your internal one. I did butcher that a little bit, but it's so true. In the past, I've tried over 12 different ways to make money online, right? I've tried so many different things, but the reason why so many previously failed is because my internal world was the exact same. I didn't have discipline. I didn't have belief. I hadn't started training this muscle, right? How the fuck are you ever going to do something substantial in the external world if your inner world is a mess, right? And I truly mean this, and I need to stress the importance of this because so many people think, I can go ahead and I can do this, I can do this. But then inside, they don't feel good about themselves. They don't feel disciplined. You know, they don't feel confident in themselves. They don't even have any type of structure in their life. And we do teach this actually in the Project Undeniable. I'll leave the link in bio below, but the importance of this is you need to understand how incredibly monumentally impactful it is to fix your internal world, because if your internal world is broken, your exterior world will match, right? So next page, reconditioning. Retrain your brain. You cannot win over your mind by fighting it. You win by retraining it. The goal is not to eliminate temptation, it's to make control your you know what I mean? Think of your brain like a dog. It learns through repetition, not lectures and speaking to it negatively. If your dog is constantly weeing on the floor, you're not going to say, you stupid dog, what's wrong with you? Stop it. It doesn't understand what you're saying. It's not going to learn. But I don't have a dog, right? But if I had a dog, I would teach it by incentivizing the behavior that I want from it. So I would put something outside and I'd say, you know, do a little wee here. If it did a wee inside, it's not getting a treat. If it does one outside, it gets a treat. Because that is me conditioning the brain through repetition. Conditioning the brain through incentivizing it. The dog's brain. But it works the same for your brain. You know, you cannot say to yourself, oh, you stupid thing, why are you scrolling on your phone? You know, you can't try and talk yourself out of it. You have to consciously think about, okay, how can I repeat this positive action to retrain my brain to change its way of thinking, change its way of perceiving the world? See, little teaching here, this is basically me. I should get a big whiteboard and a stick. I think I'd be sick. Anyway, next one. My turning point. So this was me, I think 2 years ago, okay? See, I started to pick up better habits. I started to eat a little bit better. Red Bull here, Red Bull's terrible. Says the guy drinking coffee, but Red Bull's terrible, okay? But I started picking up better habits. Started going to the gym. Got big Harry Dowse over here, one and only pot of paper. If you know, you know. But started going gym, you know. Don't be wrong, this is all camera angles. I was a skinny little man here, right? But I started going gym. Here, started eating better food. Doesn't look very beautiful, but it's good for you. Here, started reading books. Reading books? Are you crazy? You know I got 0 GCSEs. I was terrible at school. I was awful academically. Right, but I told myself for so long I wasn't a disciplined person. You know, once I started small, I started waking up on time, staying sober, you know, not smoking weed all the time, paying attention to what I ate, maintaining my appearance. For a very long time I was ungroomed as well. As I said, I wouldn't get haircuts, you know, I wouldn't care about my facial hair. I'd just do whatever, you know. Changing that as well, all these small things, they factor into how you perceive yourself and therefore the standards that you set for yourself. Right, so the same brain that ran my life started working for me instead of against me. You must start small. You must start thinking, okay, what's one thing I can do today that is going to help put me in the right direction? So say, for example, you say to yourself, right, I'm going to wake up at 8 in the morning tomorrow. Normally, maybe you wake up whenever, 2 p.m. And I understand that because that was me. But you wake up early and you're going to wake up and you're going to think, wow, I've already got a little win for the day. That feels good. Okay, is there anything else I can do that would be a win? Oh, how about I don't smoke weed today? And then you get to the end of the day and you think, oh my God, wow, that was amazing. You must start small. Don't look at it and think, oh, I have no discipline, my mind's chaotic, I need to fix my whole life tomorrow. No, because that is how you get overwhelmed and you do nothing and you procrastinate. You must start small, one thing at a time. Right, so how to start winning? You must start, oh, I've already fucking covered this, you get the point. How to start, right? So you must choose one controllable habit, whether that's hygiene, food, morning routine, gym, whatever you want it to be, one positive habit. If you don't know any positive habits, go on ChatGPT, give me a list of 15 positive habits that I can do today that is going to help change the trajectory of my life for the better because I'm not disciplined. That came off right off the top of my dome, but if you put that in, I guarantee you there's going to be at least one or two that stand out to you and you think, okay, you know what, I could potentially do this every day. And you must not aim for perfection. Say, for example, don't say to yourself, I'm going to read 50 pages of a book a day. I'm going to read 10 chapters a day, because I used to do that. I used to pick up a book and say, yeah, I'm going to read 15 pages, and guess what would happen? It would get to the end of the day, I haven't read anything, so I wouldn't read. And then the next day, I wouldn't read. The next day, I wouldn't read. I'm using reading as an example, I hate reading, right? But you must pick consistency. Consistency over perfection. Same with when I post on social media. I post on TikTok every single day for like 6 to 9 months, I think it was. Even if the video was terrible, I posted. Right? Because it's consistency that gets you anywhere in life. It's the exact same with what I'm saying. Say, for example, if you say to yourself, yeah, I'm going to read 15 pages. You're going to procrastinate, you might not do it. But if you say to yourself, okay, every day, read 1 page of a book. Some days you may decide to read 6. Some days you may decide to read 7. Whoa. Right? But it's going to be easier for you, because if you only have to read 1 page in a day, what's going to be easier? 1 page or 15? 1 page, you may read 1 page on a day you don't want to, and it's like, oh, I've read 1 now, let's read 2. Let's read 3. 3. It's okay, right. Your impulses get quieter when they realize you don't negotiate anymore. When was the last time you actually followed through because you said you would? Your word must be your bond, but not just to other people, to yourself. Truly, if you say to yourself you're going to do something, you must do it because your brain understands whether you realize it or not. If you wake up and you say to yourself, I'm going to go to the gym later, and you don't go to the gym, nothing happens. But that's what you think. Your brain is trained to believe, okay, well, Neo's someone, he says he's going to wake up and go to the gym and he doesn't do it. Neo's not a man of his word. Neo's not someone who does what he says. Neo's not someone that says what he means and means what he says. Your brain understands. Whether you keep count or not, this fucker does. Okay? And that's very important, because if you want to change your life on a neurological level, if you want to change your brain, if you want to change your identity, you must recognize how your brain processes information that you may not even consciously realize. Right, so Buddha. What a guy. What a guy. He who has conquered his own mind can conquer the world. Many of the most successful people out there in the world, they're actually doing impactful things. I'm not talking about OF creators or people that blew up on one random viral TikTok. They are people that have conquered their mind, right? You cannot do something incredibly monumental in this world if you do not have peace and mastery over your own brain. Mastery over your mind is a very long-term thing. It's not something you're going to wake up one day and think, you know what, I understand how my brain works. You know, I understand how to, you know, fight off all my impulses. I understand how to always do what I want to do. But you can make progress now. You can make progress today. Right, so your next move. Many pictures of here. Look at this lovely bald man. What you need to do now is you need to go away and you need to think, right, what is one thing that I can do today that is going to point my life in a better trajectory? What is one habit that I can aim to do consistently every single day that is going to do exactly that? And you also must passively understand every single time you get an impulse and every single time your brain reaches for a negative habit, whether that's doom scrolling, whether that's adult content, whether that's weed, you must understand, okay, my brain is just conditioned to believe this is what I need to do. My brain is just programmed to repeat this behavior because for so long it's been something that's been a constant in my life. You must redirect the repetition and think, okay, well, as opposed to doing this habit, what's something positive I can do instead, right? That is how you start making progress. Now, what I'm going to do for you now, make sure I'm not showing anything dodgy. Right, so this is my program. We've been taking some people on behind the scenes for a little while now, but I've just decided to open up spaces and put it out there a little bit. So the Undeniable Project. I'm going to run you through this briefly. It's going to take a minute of your time. If it's not something of interest to you, fair enough, but we don't really take on many people anyway. But it could be worth booking in a free strategy call here. You can hop on call with me for an hour or so. We'll dissect exactly what's going on in your life, and we will help you understand what you can do and what actionable steps you can take to better your life from today. So you can see here the type of people it's for. If you're ambitious and lost, if you're self-aware but inconsistent, if you're driven but not disciplined, and if you want truth, execution, you actually want the correct guidance, you are in the right place. Transformation, you can read here exactly how it's going to transform you, exactly what you can expect and what you get. I'm not going to read all of these because we will be here for a little while. There is a lot of value inside. However, once more, we don't have all day. But if you want to learn more about it and you want to potentially get a strategy call to try and fix your own life and to try and gain a better understanding of what you can do, then come onto my website here. I'll leave it in the description below. You can book a strategy call. As you can see here, I'll quickly run through this and then I'll let you go. I'll let you be on your merry way. This is not a random chat, right? It is a real audit, and it's to show you what's holding you back, where to focus, and how to build momentum again. We will map what is working and what is not, and we will give you a clear plan for the next stage of growth. And if I can help you execute that plan faster with accountability, and if I think you're the right fit, then I'll explain how. If not, you will still leave with direction, you will still leave with a plan, you will still leave with more clarity than you had before you hopped on the call. I appreciate you watching all the first educational video, right? There have been many little speech impediments, stutters and whatever else along the way, so your patience is very appreciated. If you want to subscribe, feel free. If you don't, I hate you. Joking. My other channels will be in the description, so with a link to this website if you want to have a little look for yourself. Once more, I appreciate you giving me your time, and I'm gonna go finish my coffee now because I'm getting the jitters a little bit. Peace.